share my screen. Just 1 second. Do you see the presentation?
It's loading, Sonia.
Okay.
Now we can see it on the designers mode.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you.
It works. Okay, very good. So thank you very much, Nikos. This was a very good introduction to the second workshop that I am invited to. Thank you for inviting me to it, because it's very interesting for me to follow, at least for the time I can be with you, the different developments and the different discussions you have on our project. As Nico said, I am the project advisor on this project, so I'm following this project from the beginning until the end. And I'm very happy also to see the people that are involved in the work, because unfortunately now with the pandemic, we are not able to travel and have the monitoring visits. We normally have one monitoring visit per project, and we might not be able to meet. So these visual meetings are very good, because like that I can see you, I can see the work you're doing, and it's very interesting for me to participate to those. So thank you very much for inviting me. My presentation will be general. I will just give you an overview of who we are and the different calls we had on Blue Skills. So let me start. First, what is the ASME? Most of you probably know. This is the Executive Agency for Small and Medium Enterprises that was established by the European Commission to manage a number of EU funding programs. We deal with all parts of the funding life cycle, from the evaluation, the grant management, project follow-up, and policy feedback. IASME is managing different programs, as I said. COSME is one of them, the Horizon 2020 life programs, but also the EMFF, the European Maritime and Fisheries Fund. This is one of the EMFF is one of the EU structural and investment funds with a budget of 6.4 billion for the programming period that we are now in, the 14-20. As you know, the next MFF will be adopted soon, and we will have a new, bigger budget we will have to implement, and we will have more developments with regards to the agencies too, because there will be a lot of reshuffling of the program. So we might end up, the EMFF might end up in another agency, something to be seen, still to be decided, but we will know soon. So I guess from next year we will have a different reality. So the majority of this budget is implemented through shared management from member states, and the remaining 11% is directly managed by the European Commission. And among the core objectives, as you see, is the developing of the integrated maritime policy and the promoting of sustainable blue growth, and also skills development is one of the key objectives in blue growth. What are the skills challenges? You already mentioned in your presentation, Nikos, that one of them that you are, of course, also looking at is this mismatch between the knowledge of the graduates and the needs of the market. It is something very important to mention here too, and the attractiveness of the maritime careers. And I know that you are also working on that in your project. So the first call was the 2016 call. We had it was launched in 2016. As I said, there were 7 projects selected from a number of 76 applications. So there were really a lot in the very beginning. And we had a budget of 3.2 billion, million, sorry. this call was kind of more generic. It was the first call, so we tried to see how the interest of the industry, the interest of the academia, or on this matter. Of course, these things evolved. The year after, we had another call, the Blue Networks in the Med. This was one of the strands of this call, because there were three strands, and one of the strands was the Blue Networks in the Mediterranean. And this was more for the contribution of the sustainable development in the blue economy in the Western Mediterranean. And again, here we had three careers-related projects: the Deep Blue Medskippers and CMES West Med that you see here, with the countries that are on the right, that were involved in the implementation of the project. And I move quickly because this is all history. It's not working. Yeah. And we come to the 2018 call, which was the call that you applied for. We had a budget of 5.5 million, and it was we received 35 applications for that. 8 proposals were funded. And as I said, this call was more prescriptive than the 2016 call. We were requesting 2 partners from 2 different countries, minimum. And here the interest was to bring together again businesses and education, to address market needs, and one of the following: the entrepreneurial skills or the collaboration with industry and education training, and the skills ecosystem at sea basin level. So one of the 3 was had to be addressed. And all projects should include measures on sustainability and transferability that you also mentioned before. And also in the expected results, we want to see improved employability, new training opportunities, synergies with other programs and projects, and new entrepreneurial ideas. And this is a list of the different projects, the 8 projects that were funded. Also Sea of Experience is there, of course. And lastly, what are the future orientations? This comes from the Green Deal, the European Green Deal that you all know. And the European Skills Agenda came out of the Green Deal. And it deals, of course, it deals with it talks about new ways of looking at ocean literacy, understanding of the oceans, support of mobility, focus again on the needs of the industry, importance of finding synergies between the different programs and the different projects, and focusing on new technologies, new industries, the innovative sectors, looking at the digitalization that you also mentioned, and the upskilling and the reskilling. And last but not least, very, very important again, supporting the stakeholders and helping in the recovery from the coronavirus pandemic, which is something that we are all working on hard, and the focus of the European Commission is on that. And I'm happy that the Sea of Experience will be part of the solution. And with this, I would like to finish here. And thank you very much again for inviting me. And I would like to stay for one more year, one more hour at least, because afterwards I have to leave to listen a bit the presentations from the Cypriot partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you very much. You can stay for one more year. I mean, it's okay.
I will stay for 2
Doesn't
more
matter.
years, actually.
We will not be here, but it will be very nice. Okay. Thank you very much. As you also know, we are in contact with Leah. I don't remember her last name. In order to get the Sea of Experience project on board this campaign about COVID-19 related project. So we are now gathering our replies and answers, and we will come back to Leah very, very soon. And thank you very much for your presentation and your attendance. Thank you very much. So, Giorgo, I guess that we can go now to Mr. Iosifidis.
Yes, that's correct. And Sonia has to unshare her screen. Okay.
I'm trying to do it.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. Because...
let me just mention to everybody until Sonia is unshares her screen that the link of the online polling is up and running. And as I mentioned at the beginning, completed towards the end of this online event. So I guess that the floor, Giorgo, goes to Mr. Iosifidis.
Yes.
Okay, hello from me. Giorgo, you can hear me, okay?
Of course.
And everybody else. Thank you, Mr. Vendigos. I will try from our side to give you a quick snap of what we feel here as a collective industry, shipping industry in Cyprus, what would be the future skills and the new education trends in the maritime sector, and what we as an industry are doing and are expecting from the educational and training institutions, and in terms of skills for our seafarers. Just very quickly to introduce the Cyprus Shipping Chamber for those who are not familiar with us. We are the trade association of the Cyprus shipping industry. We were established in 1989, so in shipping, relatively a young association. But what is important is that here on the island, we possess tremendous experience on managing ships and offering services to the shipping industry. So we have 200 member companies, ship owning, ship management, shipping related companies. And the numbers that count, and together with Greece, we can see that there is the huge expertise here in the ship management industry. 2,200, more than 2,200 ships managed from Cyprus, and more than 55,000 seafarers employed by our industry. In fact, crew management is one of our niche services, and seafarer training is something that we really care and value for, and we look forward to maintaining this training with the challenges ahead of us. For more information, you can of course look at our website. George, let me see, how do I change the slides now? Okay, sorry guys. My presentation will cover, and gents and ladies, my presentation will cover two parts. One of them is the future skills and competence needs, and the other one is the new education trends, and of course the effects that COVID-19 had on the education trends actually probably sped up the process of moving into more digital training and education. On future skills, of course, we see that technology and digitalization are transforming the shipping industry. Smart ships are coming into service, creating demand for a new generation of competent and highly skilled maritime professionals. When it comes to education, new education trends like e-learning, utilizing simulators, virtual and augmented reality for assessment of maritime training will soon become the new norm. And of course, COVID-19, as I said, has affected maritime education and training. On the future skills, maritime professionals' competence and skill sets need to be, let me just use my tests, need to be transformed in response to the rapid developments of onboard technologies such as ICT and sustainable technologies. Digital transformation and disruptive innovation have become popular terms in recent years. Digitalization is having a disruptive effect on the industry while it challenges existing business models and creates new opportunities. And of course, we now have to learn to live with new terms and topics that are being introduced through digitalization, new connectivity technologies, Internet of Things, digital twins, autonomous ships, blockchain, artificial intelligence, smart port operations, traffic and fleet management, big data, cybersecurity, etc. These are all terms that are going to be with us in the decades ahead, and we have to prepare our workforce to meet the demands of these new requirements. Somehow my computer, okay. What skills would be required in terms of skills that we refer to? We have assessed that we will need skills supporting business development, taking advantage of technology, advanced skills in analytics and use of data in optimization of the fleet, ability to interact with computer systems and that respond to difficulties in autonomous systems will be a core competence as we talk about maritime autonomous surface ships more and more, and the ability to interact through technology between teams on board, between ships, and between ship and shore. This, when assessed, and means that a continuous stream of new technologies will be introduced into the shipping industry to ensure that it meets new operational limitations set by environmental regulations, because not only we have IT moving fast, but we also have technology requirements that will be imposed upon us, especially in our process for decarbonizing our industry and for having a cleaner industry in all aspects. We are going to be faced with new technologies that our crews and our staff ashore will have to be familiarized and be prepared to adapt to. As part of the regulatory compliance, a number of technologies are likely to be improved. For example, hydrodynamics, new fuel and energy sources, logistics, and methods for effective port operations. All these needs now will require competencies and capabilities such as logistics and optimization methods to achieve high utilization of ships, operation of complex hybrid and zero-emission machineries, future onboard power and energy production, calculation and documentation of emissions, a very important aspect coming forward, and performance management systems. We will also have to see at improving the seafarers' soft skills in leadership and management with new training programs aimed at both furthering their onboard career and supporting the transition to an onshore career. And that is very important, preparing someone at sea to come ashore and be prepared to meet the shore challenges or meet the environments of the shore requirements is something that we need to improve on. The aim is to help bridge the distances between shore-based and sea-going profiles, of course. Sorry, George, my computer does not seem to react as quickly in changing the slides. I don't know why. Here it is. As an industry, and we need to maintain our leading image, and we need to improve our image in order to move forward with confidence. We need, and it is important, to enhance the attractiveness of the sector in order to be high on the list of the most talented people in startups. We need to promote cooperation between various players in the industry, including operators, regulators, the academic world, universities, government agencies, and others. And of course, we need to keep close to the research and development. Research and development, including product and technology development, will be fundamental for the future of shipping, and skills and competencies should be correlated with any R&D strategy. This is where we have not remaining idle, and as an industry, we are seeing all these. So in terms of introducing these competencies, we have seen the need for amendment to the core convention of the IMO when it comes to competencies. That is, the IMO's STCW convention has already done much to establish the minimum competence standards needed to operate. We now observe that the gap between the minimum level of high competence required to cope with the pace of technological, regulatory, and operational developments and the minimum competence required by the STCW convention is growing. This is a huge challenge, and this is the reason why the industry, through submissions to the IMO, supports that the time has come to consider a comprehensive review of the STCW Convention and Code in view to ensuring the STCW Convention can meet its objective. And for those not familiar with the industry, last time this convention was amended was in 2010. So in a decade, I think it's already, in a sense, outdated. It has to be brought up to date to meet the future competence requirements for our seafarers. When it comes to education now, what we have seen is that technology changes maritime education and training towards more flexible and on-demand paths. In line with the rapid technology changes, maritime education and training must seek effective training methods to meet the needs of the shipping industry. Training courses should be accessible from anywhere and at any time. E-learning, which makes learning more distributed, flexible, and adjustable with multiple training and assessment methods. Use of new computer technology has to be introduced, such as virtual reality and distributed computing. Simulators will allow seafarers to participate and be examined remotely. Specifically, when it comes to virtual reality, it will reshape the interaction practices between seafarers and computer technology by offering new approaches for the communication of information, the visualization of processes, and the creative expression of ideas. Simulator-based learning in maritime is booming. Simulators will help seafarers not only to learn the highly contextualized knowledge of work settings, but will also provide them with the ability to work together in teams to demonstrate qualities such as critical thinking and leadership. Moreover, technology also enables part-time and distributed learning for seafarers even while they are at sea. So we need to take advantage of the time at sea to continue upgrading the skills and the competencies of our seafarers. Maritime universities, what are the impacts of COVID-19 that we have observed? We hope and sincerely hope that this will not be with us for long, but it has actually, as I said, helped to accelerate remote learning and introduction of new technologies for education. So maritime universities are making significant efforts to maintain their academic programs, introducing various measures and new formats of maritime education and training. The challenges that have been faced is interruption and disruption of the 2019-2020 academic year. There have been delays to students completing the onboard training component of their maritime education and training. And there we have seen difficulties for students to get to maritime universities due to movement and travel restrictions. Measures that were taken include redesign and structure of MET programs and schedule to reflect new delivery methods, transition to online teaching and learning as a delivery method of MET where possible and appropriate to meet the education objectives, and development of new procedures and approaches to assessment and exams. What are the new education trends? What is the next day? Maritime universities will need to maintain a close relationship with the global shipping industry, particularly in order to address the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Ship owners and operators need to pursue a close relationship with maritime education and training institutions, and this would also be crucial when working towards the next comprehensive revision of the STCW Convention and Code. And of course, taking advantage of the provisions of Article 9 of the STCW Convention on Equivalence, maritime educational training institutions may offer an opportunity to some administrations that are looking to establish and implement some temporary measures to help address the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on METs and certification under the STCW Convention, such as recognition of approved simulator time in lieu of seagoing service experience. Again, here, as a global industry, as a shipping industry, we have not remained idle. We have taken initiative, and when I say we, the International Chamber of Shipping, which represents the global shipping community, has come together with the International Association of Maritime Universities and have made a submission to the 102nd session of the IMO at the Maritime Safety Committee, which just took place a couple of weeks ago. In this submission, the shipping industry and the maritime education and training institutions encouraged the IMO to develop guidance on temporary measures that could be established and implemented by administrations to address the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on METs, such as the need for flexibility regarding the mandatory seagoing service, for instance, different service times on board ships, recognition of approved similar time in lieu of seagoing service experience, refresher and updated training, and revalidation requirements under the STCW Convention. We were also asking the IMO to look at and consider the development of guidance on distance learning and approval of training courses meeting the requirements of the STCW Convention delivered online and or remotely, to reflect that this is a growing trend and likely to be a new normal during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. It is important for us to have common and global standards and acceptable methods of delivering this training in order to secure quality maritime training and education, which is crucial for the navigation and the operation of our industry. And this in a nutshell and very quickly our input and feedback. And as I forgot to say, thank you to the project consortium for inviting us to address this technical workshop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iossifidis. Before passing the floor to Yorgos, just let me say that there is a Q&A opening towards the end of the workshop, but if it is more convenient, you can write your questions for any presentation and any presenter on the chat, and we will gather the questions and we will address them to the presenters towards the end of the workshop. Thank you very much. Yorgo, the floor is yours.
We'll pass the floor to Captain Fradi from Columbia Ship Management. I think he's here with us.
Yeah, hello. Hi, good morning, Yorgo.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay, so I will, first of all, good morning to everyone, and many thanks for the invitation. Thanks to CMMI and all the team of Sea of Experience to invite me and to invite Columbia Ship Management to speak at this workshop. I will share my screen to. Right. Okay. So I hope you can see now the presentation. Can you see it, just to confirm, Yorgos, with you?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
You can see it.
Perfect. All right, so I will just try to speak briefly what we have learned from this pandemic and how this pandemic has changed what we do in training in general, and basically what we could have done perhaps in the past and what we will do in the future. All right, so this is just to introduce the presentation. This is how Manila looks like before and after the lockdown period. And as we know, perhaps 60 to 70% of the seafaring manpower is coming from Asia, and particularly from Manila, Philippines, sorry. And this is a bit of how things have changed during this pandemic. A lot of things have affected our business and our industry, not only training and education, crewing. You know, we all know about the crew who are stuck on board ships and crew who could not.
Excuse me. I think we don't see your PowerPoint presentation. We just see your screen.
Okay, let me do it again.
Okay, that's
better now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay, so well, the next thing is how we were doing things before. So before we were able to have people sitting all together. We can really interact with people. The human factor was very strong in what we do. Perhaps sometimes too strong, and that required shipping companies and training institutions to move people from where they are residing. And we might have thought before that it's easy for a seafarer to go to a training center, but sometimes in countries like Russia, moving from one city to the other might take 3,000 kilometers. In countries like Philippines, seafarers might have to take airplanes and boats and so on to reach to the training center. Now, what is the situation with a lot of platforms like this WebEx, which is, to be honest, very rarely used by myself. We have other platforms like Teams, like LifeSize, name it, Skype, and so on. And as you can see from this picture here, it's perhaps sometimes not so convenient. We have some technical issues, like I think now I'm having one, but also people do not sometimes switch on their cameras, do not talk to each other. So that factor of interaction is really questionable. Another example of what we do before COVID, definitely a lot of simulation training. I'm talking here about hardware and the real interaction. If we talk about bridge simulator, there will be simulation of the bridge resource management. And today, what we have as a solution is basically cloud-based. So this is an example of the solution from Wärtsilä Voyages, where you can have the same software of simulation presented online. You can find all the features that you normally have in a normal simulator. However, here there is no interaction, as I mentioned, when it comes to resource management and human performance. Is the technology used correctly? This is a very good example. I just leave it myself now, as I mentioned. Sometimes the technology is interrupted. Sometimes you have issues with bandwidth. People might not use it correctly. People do not mute themselves, or a lot of issues and a lot of familiarization needed for the trainers, for the presenters. Normally, before they get into a platform, there should be a lot of preparation and training. For that reason, in Colombia, for example, just for sharing, we have decided to select one platform which is used among all our training centers worldwide. The reason is, first of all, the platform which we need to choose to do online training has to have all the features which we think are necessary to do an online course. For example, just to mention a few, you need to have a whiteboard interaction. You need to be able to build this course online before you present it. So it's not like, like for us attending here a small conference where you just share your screen. The trainers, the instructors, they have to be prepared, and they have to be fully familiar with all the features which are into that platform. Is it a chat room? Is it breakout rooms? Is it taking notes, making polls? All these kind of features. It is very important today to train the instructors and the teachers how to use the platform and to minimize the number of platforms so that you don't have a lot of technical challenges. We need to think that what we want to do basically is to think about the future. Yes, the pandemic, COVID-19 came with a lot of challenges, but perhaps one of the questions which the industry should ask, why didn't we think about all this technology in the past? Was it not necessary? Yes, it was. For example, in Colombia, we had this lot of e-learning courses and a lot of online training 3 years before the pandemic came. So, frankly speaking, the pandemic just pushed us to think about this faster and more in details. Again, think about a company like Colombia Ship Management. We employ more than 54 nationalities from all the world, basically. And having such technology, having the tools to interact, either distance courses or fully online e-learning courses, or blended training as well, which is is a very good thing as well. So that enables the company to utilize the best trainer, the best people you have on the subject matter experts, and these guys will train your crew and or your staff wherever they are around the world. The new technologies can also be an issue for the trainees, for the seafarers, for the learners, for the students, the cadets. So they might have problems. They might not understand what the teacher is actually talking about. Who is this teacher? I mean, is that a good person? Is that a bad person? Is he patient? Is he a nervous guy? Computer issues. You know, we don't have all the same skills on using computers, so that also needs to be looked after. The technology, bandwidth connection. Think about countries where there is no 5G, there is no fiber, internet, and people might struggle to have internet access, like in India or Philippines or wherever, Africa, so where continents actually do not have the same technology like in Europe. But also the individuals, so people who are really willing to learn online and other people who are not. I mean, if we think about it, guys, you can think about also students sleeping in a classroom. So it's not really the big difference of having the same students perhaps sleeping on an online classroom. There are many challenges, and that brings us to really think about that our trainees, our seafarers are different. So we have big spectrum of people, big spectrum of ages. So seafarers can be 18 years old, can be 68 years old. They can be a man or a cook, and can be a captain, chief engineer. So we need to think when we make our courses, when we design our courses, we need to think about the learning style of each seafarer group, at least. Think about cultural difference as well, which can also be important here. Why is that so important to think about all this now? Actually, we should have to think about it a lot before, but sometimes to implement a new regulation, just to train all your people in a new regulation like GDPR or cybersecurity, if you want to train thousands of people, you need really a lot of resources, and online solutions are exceptionally amazing and efficient in this case. Just to share with you, in Colombia's learning management system, we have more than 12,000 users. We have 200 people visiting the platform every day, more than 200 courses. However, that doesn't stop there. We need to look at other technologies, which we are looking for, and I hope that Sea of Experience also can consider this. Technologies like holographic telepresence, VR, AR, also the holographic design of the components and the training, specific training for engineers and the deck officers. Coming close to the conclusion, I just want to share this picture with you. I think it is important for us and for all the new projects which are introduced about learning and education to think, are we here yet or not? I know that very much, I'm sure, our industry reached this level of training results and training effectiveness, but I think we all need to work together to make sure that whatever training we deliver, we are sure that it has the right results and the right return of investment. Well, just to finalize, the digitalization, in my opinion, is a very digital thing. It's a very nice thing to have, but it shall not change all our way of thinking. The classic way of doing things, going to the school, doing things with your own hands, learning by doing the hardware simulation are very important things, and we should get back to them as soon as possible while keeping both methods living in parallel. If you have any questions to me, this is my email. You can contact me anytime. So that's all from my side. I mean, I want to share my screen.
Thank you very much. I think we should move. That was very interesting, actually. We learned a lot of things. Let's move to the last talk of this session by Mr. Siriotis from EPT.
Hello, everybody. Kostas Silijotis from EDT Ship Management. For people that do not know us, we are a ship management company operating offshore support vessels and tugboats from based in Limassol Port. We also operate a dry dock facilities here. Today, I was going to speak about the role of the naval architect and the challenges that we are about to we will face in the near future, in the foreseen future. In my presentation, I will not speak about COVID, and the challenges, because it's not our not the specialization of our on engineering side. And okay, so first of all, we have to define what is naval architecture. And naval architecture is defined as a field of engineering that specializes in the knowledge of design, inspection, construction, and repair of the ships. This is the definition that that we have at now, and that the principles of naval architecture. The naval architect is the engineer who is specialized in ship and maritime technology, and this definition applies to a lot of shipping activities and a lot of floating, or related to a lot of floating assets from various types of ships, including submarines, including floating structures, and anything that can be constructed or on the water. This is up to now the present types of ships that everybody knows. And let's go back in history. The ship was the first transportation means created by human. The historical records refers to the use of waterborne vessels 4,000 as early as 4,000 BC, and you can see from the slide the evolution of the ships through the years. As you can see that the recent century, the evolution was a little bit, the things developed a little bit faster than the previous years. So now we are coming to another evolution of we are in front of another revolution in shipbuilding, in ships and ships. The naval architects, together with the overall industry, maritime industry, need to face new challenges. We are in front of new challenges, and the new challenges is the major ones that I can see is the remotely operated vessels and autonomous ships, and the green ship design and decarbonization issues. We consider that as the major challenges that we will face in terms of a naval architecture area of concentration. Of course, the shipping and maritime industry, as everybody agrees, have to face a number of other challenges that previous speakers addressed too, but we will consider that. So, the industry shown big interest in remotely operated and at the later stage of autonomous ships. That there are already in experimental operation in some areas in the world. This, from a naval architecture point of view, will bring further to the technology that will be implemented. Will have changes in design, as you said. In design, will have changes. Will have to implement new rules in redundancy. Connectivity, of course, is an issue that mostly the information technology experts will be focused on, but there are other items that need to be considered in the long run, which are also include further to the redundancy, the control of the ship, the maintenance of the ship, okay, and as well as the applicability of the conversions, like solar smart poles. We have seen that a number of P&I clubs and classification societies are interested on took the autonomous shipping seriously, and they are publishing from time to time some requirements and regulations. But we are the impression that if going forward, we need to have revisions of solar, smart pole, and other conversions related to these ships. Okay. The next one is the decarbonization, the green ship design. As we have, all of us in this industry and in our personal life, everybody is speaking about, we have been to conversations and about decarbonization of our lifestyle, and especially in our industry about decarbonization of our industry. I consider decarbonization, reduction of emissions, the energy efficiency as the hottest potato in terms of engineering in our industry. The definition, a statement by DVGL says shipping is experiencing increasing pressure to decarbonize the operation to reduce emissions to the air. And we have we passed the 220 with reduction of sulfur. We are going forward to the 2030 and with aiming to 250, which the average reduction of emissions will be more than 50%. Okay, to achieve that, the industry started as a first reactions to implement hybrid propulsion systems that can, and there are already ships or ferries that operate with this hybrid system that are reducing the emission, keep having a generator, shaft generator, loading batteries that are used as an energy when needed in order to reduce the use of fossil fuels. We are using alternative fuels such as LNG, biofuel, ethanol, and of course, there is a lot of attention nowadays to optimize hull designs. There are companies that and the design office that invest a lot in this area. Of course, there are also another suggestions for for other methods of reducing the energy, the use of fossil fuels and the energy produced by them, and therefore the emissions, which are under study as either as experiments or as projects for the time being. But this will affect the design of the ships, the stability of the stability-wise, structurally wise, and of course the power system. For this, the naval architects in the future, as well as all industry, including classifications, societies, have to be familiar and take into consideration in future designs or ships.
I'm sorry, Mr. Siligiotti, somehow we lost, at least I lost the last half of minute of your presentation. So if you can repeat, please. There was no sound. Sorry for that.
Sorry. I'm referring to the projects that are aiming to decarbonize, to give solution for the decarbonization of our industry, of the vessels operations, which are based on on renewable energy, and there are other still on the experimental or project phase. Some of them are the fixed wing designs, the rotor sails, the kite assisted sail, the fixed wing and solar power hybrids. All these ones will further to their with their installation on the ships. They will have to be. They will bring a lot of other concerns to the naval architecture and the ship design, like have to consider change of stability, will create stability issues that need to be addressed, structure issues, and all these that the naval architect of the future or classification societies and all the relevant bodies have to address and solve. Okay, so that was my short presentation about the ways that I see the new challenges for the ship design in the near future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Siligiotti. Thank you very much. I see that the connection of Yorgos has some kind of problem, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you very much. It is amazing, guys, that it's 11:16 and the schedule, the agenda says that we should have finished, or we should finish this part A of the workshop at 11:15. Amazing, because in our workshop we were quite back and late, back in time and late. So thank you very much, everybody, for keeping the clock, keeping the time. Thank you very much for giving us these very interesting presentations. All the presentations were to the point. They gave us various perspectives in terms of training, in terms of challenges and needs of training, in terms of the future demands and the future, let's say, necessities for a naval architect or a marine engineer. Thank you very much. I think now we have some time if somebody wants to raise a question to the presenters. Is there any questions to the presenters? I would ask, to tell you the truth, because our background is also naval architect and marine engineers, Mr. Siligiotis, about the ways that our profession has changed in various, companies during this pandemic period, because we have heard about remote surveys, we have heard about many things, and I would like to hear your opinion on that. And Zacharia, you can, of course, say whenever you want, whatever you like, okay? You have a very nice light there, green light behind you. I don't know. Okay, so Mr. Siligiotis, if you can elaborate a little bit. Yeah.
It's part of the Green Deal, Nikos.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Siligiotis, if you can unmute your microphone. Thank you.
In our operations, the pandemic changed a lot the accessibility to the ships. For example, if we have a dry dock now and we cannot send it's hard for the superintendent to go, or if he will go, to we need these 14 guaranteed days and stuff. We're facing difficulties on surveyor attendance and stuff. We are using there is now with the lockdown of Limassol, we want to send things or to visit the vessel, our tugboat in Larnaca, and it has been postponed. Maybe Mr. Zacharias will assist. Now, we are using a lot the remote surveys, more than before. Of course, we were trying to use them as much as possible in the past, but for cost issues and flexibility issues, but now they are becoming more essential. We are facing difficulties when inspections are needed on board, or when we have to send the service engineers and we have to solve most of the issues online. But we are trying to overcome this, and we hope that we try to use the technology as much as possible, and to overcome such issues, thinking that it's temporary. In our industry, because most of our vessels are operating for a fixed port, for example, on a platform supply vessel is operating for a fixed port to the offshore sector of a country, the problems with the COVID guarantees are less than our colleagues working for the cargo or ship owners.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If I may ask something else I guess to all three presenters, we hear pandemic and the differences and all that stuff. This is, well spoken and well delivered. But we are also hearing about vaccines and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, we have a vaccine and we can deal with COVID-19. All this situation, it will leave something behind. What it will leave behind in our industry? I mean, we will change some kind of the way or part of the way of how we are doing some work, or we will be, using and keep on using technology and everything, remote surveys, etc., more and more. What do you expect that this will leave, or we will go back to business as usual when we did not encounter this situation? I don't know who from the three speakers wants to say a couple of words on that, because I mean, we are hearing that a vaccine is not, I don't know if it's almost here, but there is a huge effort. So what are we expecting that this will leave behind? I don't know, Mr. Iossifidis, do you want to go first? I don't know.
Mr. Vendigos, if I could provide my reply on this, I believe it will be a combination of the two. The biggest benefit out of this COVID situation will be the preparedness level of the industry and companies in a future similar occasion to meet such crisis situations. But I feel, and as Fradi said, and maybe I should have said it as well, we should not move away from the traditional ways of teaching and educating people face to face. Yes, we are going to make more use of the IT technology, the virtual reality, to assist with understanding and delivering courses. But I am very much fond of the face-to-face class. And of course, much more for the seafarers, the seagoing experience. So it will be used. I feel it will be a combination of going back to a large percent to not to the old practices, but using the technologies and the facilities where available as best as possible, and definitely not going all the way in operating in the same way that we are operating now. There's no way that you can change a face-to-face meeting. There's no way that you can conduct a conference without the networking facilities, without the networking aspect of it. So just to sum it up, it will be a combination, but the main benefit, it will be preparedness to meet such crisis situations in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If any one of the other two presenters wants to add something, or Zacharia, if you want to add something, the floor is yours.
Unless Costas or Captain Friday have something else. Before then, I can ask.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have something to add.
So I guess I can ask. So my question and a kind of an opinion, because I think I saw a name of an ex-colleague from the Classification Society cluster in the audience, and I'm wondering how you are going to be convincing the owners in the future that what was possible during the last 10 months with remote inspections and remote audits is no longer feasible. In the past, we were aiming to reach this stage of remote inspections, but we were always thinking that it will come in a few years' time. Now suddenly it became the norm, and the ship owners got used to it. So I'm wondering how easily it would be for a classification society to say to an owner no if the ship is at the southern tip of South America and a surveyor is not available, that the certificates are expiring and you cannot the surveyor. So it's a kind of a question and to some extent an opinion. And also going back to what you are asking, Costas, about the education of the naval architects, although I haven't been recently myself in the academic circles of a university, I just think that the universities offering naval architecture and marine technology courses, they have to embrace more the new emerging technologies as part of their educational programs. So we have the old conventional programs that we used to do in my time, but I think the new technologies could also be incorporated into the programs. And I'm saying this because we feel that the future will be in the combination of the new technologies and the old conventional naval architecture for the new colleagues that will come out into the industry and hopefully also in our institution to work as researchers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If there's not another question or somebody else who wants to say and contribute to this discussion, I guess that we all understand that some things will go back to as they were, but there will be some new, let's say, practices and the adoption of some new technologies that they will sustain and they will be used after the vaccine and after the regulation of everything back to normal situation. Now, the second part of this workshop is more technical in the sense that we will be presenting specific, let's say, topics, specific items from the work that is being carried within the context of the Sea of Experience project. We have two presentations to this respect. I would say that as we all understand, the project has just concluded the first year of its duration. So now we have started preparing and presenting some results. A peculiarity of this project is that we have the results quite early, or some of the results we are expecting them quite early within the life cycle of the project, because we want and we are trying to apply the tools that we are developing into the industry, to apply them, to test them throughout the project, so as to produce and deliver something that will be really useful and really a hands-on solution for the blue economy domains that we are dealing with. According to the agenda, the first presentation will come from Apopsy. I think Yorgos Voulkas will be doing it. He will deliver it. It's the demonstration of the current version of the sharing pooling platform, of this online tool, which we will be using in a multiple way. I think Yorgos will give a sample of its capabilities. And before Yorgos passing the floor to you, I would like whoever wants to switch on his or her camera in order to be able to have a couple of photos and couple of, dissemination material for our social media. So please, whoever wants, you can switch on the camera, and Vera, let us know when we have taken our photographs.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Vera, very much. So, Yorgo, the floor is yours to dazzle us with the platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody. Some of you have already seen previously a demonstration of this platform. Some of you have not seen it yet, so we will try to present some of its features and capabilities in a second. Let me start by sharing the web browser. Okay. Okay, what we have done so far is, as you already know, is we have specified via the previous deliverables of the project. We try to be as exact and specified as specific as possible in what we need the platform to do and what specific procedures we need the platform to be able to follow. So at this point of the project, the platform has come to a point where most of its main features have been developed and are ready to be utilized within a mentoring project. Let's start with logging in here. The platform utilizes a solid user management system. Right now, I will log in as a user who is a mentor. That means that the user has the role of the mentor, and thereby he is able to perform specific tasks as per his role. For instance, at this point, I'm logged in as Mr. Ventikos. We can see that right here on his home screen, we can have some content here. So it kind of resembles a website. We can have one page or more pages of content. The other main thing here that Mr. Ventikos can do is he can select his language. He can switch from English to Greek at any time. And over here, we see that the chat application. We have incorporated the chat application within the platform so that the users do not have to rely in using any external messaging systems. The chat works as an instant messaging application if both parties are logged in at the same time in the platform. So he can select to, let's say, talk to Theano over here and say, hello. If Theano is online, she will be able to see the message and reply to it, much like we do in any messaging application. If Theano is offline, as soon as she logs in the platform, she will see a new message indication over here, and she will be able to reply to the message that she has received. Also, we decided to offer the capability to attach a file in the messaging application. So much like we would do in an email scenario, the mentor can select a file and he can share it with one or more of his mentees. So this pretty much covers the module of chatting and messaging. Again, we pinpoint that it's very easy to use, very intuitive to use, and we also have the ability to share files within the same environment, so we don't have to rely to an email application or any other external messaging or chatting application. Of course, you can see the history of his chat. Let's say, for instance, he can switch to another one of his mentees, and he can see here that he has shared something else with him. Or, of course, he can receive chats and files from his mentees using this environment over here. Let's go back to the home screen again. The other main screen for the mentor is the mentee screen. And over here, he can have an overview of his associated mentees. Right now, Mr. Venticos has 5 associated mentees. And in this tabular view, he is able to have a quick overview of the status of the mentoring project, let's say it, with each one of his mentees. For instance, in this demo scenario, we have declared that the mentor has to do 3 mentoring sessions with each of his mentees, and his mentees have to participate in some online questionnaires or online psychometric tools. From this screen, he's able to overview the progress of each of one of his mentees towards the completion of the tools or towards the completion of each mentoring sessions. If he wants to have an overview of what has been done with each participant, these icons help him in viewing this information, and he can always navigate to each mentee. Let's select Theano over here. He can see the mentee's personal data. These are some example fields that we have included in the system. Of course, they can be enriched, or some more fields can be added or maybe hidden or deleted. But this is the profile of his mentee. And as I said, it can be easily customized. And over here, it's the same thing that he saw earlier in the tabular view, which is the mentoring project structure. Let's say that for the first mentoring session with Theano, if he wants to schedule a session with his mentee, all he has to do is select if it's a distance session. Usually it will be a distance session, but the system can support a live session, a face-to-face session. As already stated, this is irreplaceable. I agree with that. But let's start with a distance session here. He can select that the session will be held today, and let's schedule it for 11:45. And okay, this is a good example. Right now, the system is warning the mentor that there is a time conflict in scheduling this session, because there is a session which is arranged with this mentee at this time, so he cannot double book his time. So let's say that he wants to schedule Theano for 13:45. Okay, the conflict warning message has disappeared, and the mentor can schedule the session. So this is a very straightforward and very easy approach in scheduling mentoring sessions, we believe. And of course, he can go ahead and view the progress of these mentees towards the completion of any psychometric tool, or schedule more sessions and enter details about them. When the mentor goes back to the home screen, we have also added another feature here, which is the calendar. The calendar is, of course, is a straightforward approach. Sorry for the Greek text; it will change to English, of course. And it's a very straightforward approach, as we have all been familiar more or less with calendars. And we have a year, month, a week, or a day view. For instance, for today, which is the 18th, we see that the mentor has one scheduled session with Dimitra and one more session with Theano, which is the session that we have just scheduled. And he can always navigate to that and see what he has to do towards the completion of the mentoring session with Theano. Of course, there is a week view with more details, or even a daily view, and he can always consult that and see what his daily schedule looks like. Let's go over the mentoring session again. We saw that there is a scheduled. It was the third one. I'm sorry. There was a scheduled session with Dimitra, which was the third mentoring session. It was scheduled for today. The mentor can join the session using this button right here. And what the system will do is will launch a web conferencing environment, which is incorporated within the mentoring platform. Again, we didn't want the mentors or the mentees to have to rely in any other external applications. So what we have done is we have integrated this web conferencing system with the mentoring platform. In other words, when someone schedules an online meeting, this online meeting is generated in this web conferencing platform. And in addition, the web conferencing platform can report back to the mentoring system whether the mentor or the mentee have joined the session and have attended the session. It's very straightforward to do. As we saw, all the mentor has to do is just click on join session, and he's transferred within the web conferencing environment. And if everything goes well with the sound, he joins the session and he starts talking with his mentee. He can share his material. He has a whiteboard that they can use. There's a chatting application over here, and he can play with it, and he can hide the chat. He can launch his camera as well. Let's try to do it. I don't think it will let me. Yeah, of course, because I'm already using my camera for the WebEx meeting. But he has a real-time audio and video, of course, enabled, and he can communicate with his mentee. So this environment, we think, is very straightforward and very easy to use and schedule any mentoring sessions. Another thing that we would like to show is the environment where the mentor, the library. The library is an organized repository of files, videos, and any material that is deemed valuable for, to be shared with other mentees. The mentor can navigate within the categories of the library. Let's say he selects shipbuilding and ship repair. He goes to the welder category, and he decides to share an item which is an introduction to welding materials. All he has to do is go to sharing materials, and he can select one or more of his mentees and just share this item with them. So again, a very straightforward approach. As we saw, the mentor can either use the library, which has all the valuable materials categorized in subjects or fields of specialty. It's up to us to select how the library will be finally organized. So the mentor can either select an item from the library to share it with his mentees, or he can decide to share an ad hoc item from his own library with his mentees using either the the session, the online session, or the chatting application. So we enabled, I believe, various ways of sharing whatever material is deemed necessary with the mentees. And we decided to give a lot of freedom to the mentor in order to be able to move flexibly within the mentoring program and select anything that is required or he thinks it's required by his mentees, and thereby enabling a truly personalized mentoring approach. No. We saw the library, we saw the calendar, also we'll show the evaluation later. Also, there's a shared file screen, and right here, the mentor has a thorough view of what he has shared with his mentees. Of course, he can always go back to the chatting application, as we saw earlier, and he can see what he has shared with each of his mentees, but he has an overview of the shared files from this environment as well. If we have a little bit more time, let me switch to the mentee view really quick. I will log off and join again as Theano. Okay, now Theano has joined the platform. She has a mentee role, so she is able to access different or less operations of the system. She can see that her mentor is Mr. Ventikos. We can have some more details about the mentor's profile over here. Right now, all we have included is the mentor's name, email, but we can have more stuff over here. There is an indication that she has a new message. And guess what? It's from her mentor. And she can see that the mentor has shared this file with her. She can download the file, or she can decide to ignore it. I wouldn't do that. She can also see the mentor's profile from this page as well. And again, I just want to say that the chatting application is much like we saw from the other side, from the other part, from the mentor's part. It's very easy to use, very intuitive, and the student can always go back and see what has been shared with him or her. Also, the mentee has access to the library. She can see the recommended files for her, or she can navigate the library and select any item that she thinks is interesting, and she decides to view or read it, or view a video, or anything like that. Also, I'm sorry, let me go really quick to this part first. This is the sharing view. In this view, in this environment, the mentee has an overview of what has been shared with him or her. It provides a kind of organized view of all the items that have been shared with me as a mentee. On the right part, of course, it's items that have been shared with me from the library. Okay, and these are items that I can maybe rate, decide that I like this one and I can add it to my favorites. Or if it's a video, I can of course launch it from right here, and I can visit this video and watch it, and so it's incorporated. And again, we believe it's very easy to use. The other thing I wanted to show to you is the mentoring actions. This is a page where the mentee sees all the actions that he or she has to complete in order to, let's say, complete a mentoring project. All the actions that we have to complete appear on the left side as pending mentoring actions. All the actions that we have completed appear on the right side as completed mentoring actions. So all she can see right now is that, let's call it an introductory section. There is a first mentoring session that will be held with my mentor, who is, of course, Nikos Ventikos. It's scheduled for this date and time. I cannot join the session yet. I can join the session 30 minutes. Again, it's customizable, but we have selected to be able to join the session 30 minutes before the beginning time of the session. And of course, as more mentoring sessions are scheduled, they will appear over here as scheduled, and she will be able to join the sessions, and she can complete any kind of questionnaires over here. What we have added since the last meeting that we have showed is we have created it's a whole new environment for creating evaluations, and I think it's very valuable, and we will be able to use it in several use cases within our project. So it's an environment in which we can create any kind of evaluation, and we can decide to associate this evaluation with either the mentors or the mentees or any other roles within the system. Right now, we have created an evaluation for mentees. It has been launched and associated with mentees. Automatically, Theano, as a mentee, is able to see that she has an evaluation that she has to complete, and we call it mentoring program evaluation by mentees. And as soon as she launches the evaluation, she can see that she has several questions regarding several aspects of the mentoring project. Let's say we have a couple of questions on the mentoring program overall. She can decide to provide answers on that. There's some Greek text over here. We can change that. Over here is a section where the mentee has a chance to evaluate his or her mentor. Of course, automatically, Theano sees that she will now be evaluating Mr. Ventikos, who is her associated mentor, and we can have several parameters that we want to evaluate the mentor against. And over here, she can decide to rate her mentor. I will give him a low rating on this one.
No, this is a low. Put a 5 there. A 5.
Okay. Someone said put a 5 there.
Yeah.
Objectively
speaking,
I also received 500 euros on my PayPal account, so it's a 5 for Mr. Ventikos over here. And of course, he's always eager to invest time and effort, but not so much. Let's give him a 4. So again, we can have several parameters. We can have several types of questions over here, and we can evaluate any aspect of the mentoring project. We also included a couple of questions on the sharing pooling platform as a software. How would you rate using the platform? How would you rate the interface, if it's easy to use or not? So the mentee can, of course, provide his feedback on any of these aspects and its relevant questions, and submit his or her questionnaire. When the mentee goes back to the home screen, or the next time she logs in and she visits the mentoring actions, of course, the evaluation questionnaire, which is considered to be a mentoring action for our system, is placed on the right hand side, and it's below the completed mentoring actions. Of course, you cannot complete it again. And the other thing I want to show you really fast is we can have a real-time reporting. Yes, let me switch to another user really quick. A real-time reporting on the evaluations. I will not go over this interface yet. This is the interface I was telling you about, where we can easily design evaluations. It's almost a thorough software over here. We can, if I go really fast, we can create the questions over here. We can have group of questions, types of questions. So it's very easy with no programming to create a questionnaire. And the interesting thing is that we can select to design a report on each questionnaire using a designer environment. And of course, selected users, they don't have to be the admin user as I am right now. Selected users can have access to the report of each evaluation. The report utilizes graphs, and we can have an overview, a quick idea of what we have been doing so far. For instance, from all the submitted questionnaires, these are the results on this question, of course, that the number of questions were satisfactory or excessive. And we have the percentages over here, utilizing pie charts or donut charts. And the interesting fact over here is that we can have an overview of the mentor's evaluation. Excuse the Greek text again. These are the two mentors that we have been using so far. We can have an overview of each of the parameters. For instance, for Mr. Vendikos, the 4 over here is regarding, or let's say the 3.25 over here regarding the parameter called eagerness to invest time and effort is the average of all the submitted evaluations on him. So from his 4 or 5 or 20 mentees, the average submitted for him regarding the parameter of eagerness to invest time and effort is 3.25, which gives us a thorough view of how our mentors are evaluated. On the right-hand side, we see that Mr. Vendikos has achieved a total score of 24, which can be rated against the maximum score for each parameter. We can see that how well he has performed as a mentor. And of course, the last line over here is the average value of the parameter eagerness to invest time and effort for all our mentors. Again, we believe that this is a very solid overview of how our users, how our mentees and our mentors are perceiving our platform and the mentoring services that they have been receiving. And of course, these are the other questions regarding the e-mentoring system. Any question that I have placed in the questionnaire can be shown as a graph over here, and we can have a statistic over here regarding how this platform is performing. The chatting environment is rated as average by 20% of the mentees, and so forth. Very good by 40% of the mentees, and so forth. So pretty much this is some of the stuff that we have been showcasing in the previous workshop, and some of the newly added stuff on the platform. And I think I have exceeded my allocated time. And I will.
Thank you, Yorgo. Thank you
stop
very much.
Right here. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you have just 1 second, please go through the chat, because Christos Atalianis, who is a member of our advisory board, he has kindly put on a couple of questions there. So if you can reply to them. And
yes, of course.
And on top of that, let me just ask you to clarify or whatever, the e-mentoring platform is one of the capabilities of the platforms that we will be developing. I mean, we will have, if you can elaborate a little bit on that so everybody can understand. Okay? Thank you. I mean, we will also have this repository, which will be in here, and can you please,
we're talking about the material that will be developed.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. All the online material that will be developed, which will be the videos, the instructional videos, the 360 videos, the VR content that will be developed. It will be placed here within the e-library of the platform, as we saw. It will be categorized within the library. It will be searchable, and we will be able to associate it with and place it within the mentoring project, associated with each specialty. And the mentees will be able to access it just like we saw with Theano earlier, from their main screen as a pending mentoring action. They will be able to launch each material within from within the platform. So all the material, all the mentoring material will be placed within this platform and be accessible via the same user interface.
Okay, okay. So while you are looking at Christos' questions on the chat,
yes,
let me just say that we are currently, for example, your Kapetanis from our group, we are currently putting together a lot of material and stuff that we want to upload on the platform. So we will, at the end of the project, we will not have something like a Kelifos, a cell. Or a simple structure. There will be some meat on the bone in order for the future mentees to be able to, to work with the uploaded material. So, Yorgo, go ahead for the reply to Christos.
Yes, okay. I understand the question. This is a matter of, I think it's more, not necessarily a technical question, as more a matter of decision. The platform has been designed so that the chat history is kept throughout the duration of the project. So in other words, as long as the mentee is able to access the system, he will be able to see the chat history with his or her mentor, and vice versa. If for some reason we want to add the ability to delete the chat history or the shared files, I think it's something that should be done by more of a supervisory role or a administrative role, and not by the mentor himself. But if we agree that it's something that we need, we can always add this feature. I would like to keep the history of what has been shared. But we'll have a discussion on that.
Yes, can I say that my question was purely an administrative question, but I am trying to look at it from the mentee point of view. After the mentoring has been completed, first of all, how easy it is for me as a mentee to download in one file, let's say, or not in 150 files, but in one file, just have a complete record of the mentoring process that took place by the 2 or 3 different mentors. Okay, that is the first part of my question, so that I can read it and maybe I can digest it and revisit some of the questions and some of the issues that were tackled during the mentoring process. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, how can I revisit that mentoring process myself as a mentee? And secondly, at the end, when the whole mentoring is complete, if I say, okay, I understand that there is merit for you guys to keep the record, but maybe a lot of things have been discussed during the mentoring process, and as a mentee, I would like that record to be deleted, or at least can that record be left in the system in an anonymous manner? Can I just delete my personal information and leave the information for other people? I understand that other mentees might actually look at this as a case issue, right? So
no, actually, the other mentees are not able to see my chat history, of course. What has been shared with between me and my mentor is just between us. So the other mentee, Nikos, can never be able to see what you and me have shared. Let's say Christos is the mentor and George is the mentee. This is just between me and you.
Okay.
We have several questions here. One question is, after the end of the mentoring project, what happens with the mentee's personal data, which is a GDPR thing?
Absolutely. Yeah.
If we want to delete that, or if we want to keep that in the system for auditing purposes, I don't know. Again, we can support, from the technical point of view, we can support that. So it's a matter of decision, actually. The other question is whether after I graduate from the mentoring project, if I want to delete what has been shared with me, with my mentor, or my conversation with Christos, my conversation records. Again, this can be a process where I suppose we can suggest that the mentee places a request to the administrators and says that I would like my chat history to be deleted and all the files that have been shared with me to be deleted. again, this is I think it's a part of the GDPR regulations, and it's the right to oblivion, I think. So again, technically it can be supported as well. Now, the other question, which was whether I'm able to download everything in a single file, I don't think it's either technically possible or proper, because for instance, throughout the project, let's say that I participate in one or more psychometric tools, which Despina will cover in detail in the next presentation, I think. We are able to create a PDF document with all the analysis of the psychometric tool, and the mentor can decide to share this document with us, with me as a mentee. It is a single document for each psychometric tool, and it's specific for that tool, and it's specific for me, and it's created according to my answers. So again, each mentoring action can create a deliverable for the mentee. I think this should be a single discrete file, if it's a file. Of course, if I watch a video, there's no deliverable over here, and I cannot download the video, unless we specify again that we would like the mentees to be able to download the videos so they can be able to view them again and again in an offline mode of operate. Yeah. Again, we can support that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, Christo, at the now we are trying to develop the technical format, in a technical manner, the platform to have all the possible capabilities, and at some point we will, discuss something about some features. We have already discussed a lot, but some feature about each administration, as Yorgos said, what will happen after the duration of the project, how this will be maintained, because this will be maintained and will be supported, but how, and to see specific rules about GDPR and the specific rules about the usage of the platform. However, at this point, we are developing a powerful tool with many capabilities, and we will see how we will, apply all that into the day-to-day application. I mean, something like that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I do not see any other question. Thank you, Christo. Thank you, Yorgos. I guess that now we can pass and we can give the floor to Despina Yorgo for her to present her presentation on the criteria for profiling a mentor, a teacher, an effective mentor and teacher, so that we know how we will select and how we will put together our mentor and training list. Because we all understand that, and from Yorgos' presentation, that the mentor, apart from me, because I'm a well-established mentor, as you have seen, it's a very, very important, along with the mentee, it's a very important component of the overall system. So, and of course, you can mute your microphone, Yorgo. Of course. Okay, Despina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Benticos. Thank you all. It doesn't know how we stress how many minutes.
Despina, if I may, your sound is not of such a good quality. If you can speak up a little bit or go closer to the microphone, it would be super. Thank you.
Okay, is it better now?
So and so. I don't know. Just speak up and speak a little bit, slowly, in order for us to understand and hear what you're saying. Thank you.
Okay. Slowly enough, but
Despina, I think you're using another microphone. You need to select another microphone. The WebEx. environment has selected another microphone and not the one that you want to use. It's coming from another source.
Yeah, but which do you have anything connected on the computer, another microphone, a headset or something like that?
Δεν ακούω καλά. Επειδή είναι αυτό συνδεμένο, να μου κάτσει λίγο να τον κάνω.
Me, I'm an expert in muting microphone. You should know that.
Okay. Δεν ακούγομαι καλά με το...
Until Despina fixes her little problem, let me just say that this might be a good time for you to complete the online questionnaire. There is a link further up in the chat of this online meeting. Perhaps, Vera, you can re-paste it so they can find it, all the attendants can find it very quickly. Thank you very much. So it is now very easy to find it within the chat, and please go ahead and complete the online forms. It's a little bit different, as you will see, from the one that we had in Athens, but it will be very useful to us in order to be able to, to steer our efforts towards the correct direction. Okay. Despina, I see that they are trying to put everything together. It is. Let me just ask, Despina.
Is it better now? Can you hear me?
Super.
Okay, I have my personal IT help and support.
Okay, that's good. You're lucky.
Thank you.
Okay, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. How many minutes do I have, Mr. Rondikos? Because you are my favorite mentor and I don't want to disappoint you. So please tell me.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I will tell you when to finish, okay? Thank you.
Okay. First of all, thank you again for inviting us to this workshop. Me and the rest of the Valion team. We are occupational psychologists, and our role in this project was to, we were asked to define the criteria, the profile of the effective mentor in the maritime sector. It's a very challenging project, very interesting project. I don't want to keep you on this. I just have to say that, as you said earlier, Mr. Ventikos, Sea of Experience has as a goal to guide, support, and inspire students toward career paths in the blue economy. So it's, as we all understand, it's very important who will be this person, the effective, successful mentor in order to do it. So it's very important to have identify the skills, the capabilities, when we're talking about skills, soft skills, technical skills, background requirements, in order for this person to be effective in this role, to be successful, to overcome professional barriers, to the mentee, to develop career paths, and to enable mentees to succeed. So for us, it was clear that in order to define these required criteria, as I said, both soft and technical skills, it was a very crucial step in this procedure. We devoted a lot of time, and you can see in the next slide the process that we followed in order to come up with a competency model that will cover all. It will be like an umbrella, having all these soft skills needed in order for the mentor to be successful. By saying competency model, I just want to clarify something and not to be confused with competent. It's different when we say someone's competent in doing something successful as a skill, and it's different when we're talking about having competencies, behaviors that needed and they are relevant in order to perform successful in a role. So competency from our point of view has to do with a number of individual characteristics which are important for achieving desired outcomes related to job success, and which can be described as observable behaviors. It's very important that we are talking about behaviors, something that we can observe, categorize, measure. And it's not just one thing. It's an umbrella of behaviors. As I said, it has to do with personality aspects, motivational factors, and of course, knowledge acquired and abilities. Something that I didn't say earlier, also, I would like to give me 1 second to define what when we're talking about mentoring in the blue economy, what that means. In every sense, mentoring for us is a mutual beneficial relationship between a mentor and a mentee. It's not just being a teacher and having a student, of course. So it's a learning and development partnership with someone that has experience, and from the other side, someone that wants to learn and to gain this experience. So it's we want to transfer knowledge and experience. It's very important that we have to build a trusted relationship in order from both sides, and especially the mentee, to be open to this journey. And of course, it's very important also to say that it's not, we don't need just someone to be very experienced on the role in order to be a mentor. Equally important is he has to have the drive to devote time and energy and passion to help someone and to assist him to transfer this knowledge and experience. Okay, we will see how we end up with a competency model for the mentor, the blue economy sector. And just to mention here that the final step in this was to conclude with a dynamic database in order to include the potential teacher, lecturers, mentors that fulfill all the prerequisites and determined criteria. The procedure was, as you can see here, we had a lot of steps. First of all, very important, in order to identify the most critical skills, we had extended research on the existing literature for the soft skills competencies of mentors, in general mentoring, but also we searched for the mentor in the blue economy sector in order to see if there is something more there. Apart from that, we had input from the consortium regarding the technical skills and educational background of 10 indicative professions, as you can see them here on the slide, in the 4 blue economy domains. So in order to save the full profile of the mentors in these professions. We also benchmark the new competency model for maritime mentors with SHL's Universal Competency Framework in order to have the benchmark. Apart from that, we end up with having the first draft, let's say, of the competency framework. We had a very important stage of the validation interviews also. We had the opportunity to conduct validation interviews with active mentors from all the 4 blue economy domains to explore further and to validate the critical soft skills through content analysis. And the findings there were very positive because they covered all the findings that we had already. In more details, the behavior indicators were the same, so we validate exactly the model. We came up with a finalization of the model, and the next step, as George described earlier, the platform, the next step is to evaluate the potential mentors through the platform on these competencies via an online questionnaire that is already developed, a behavioral competency-based questionnaire. It's already in the platform that George described earlier in order to assess potential mentors on these competencies. We can have there 2 different reports, one for the coordinator of the program in order to see how strong or less strong, let's say, is the fit for the mentor, the potential mentor with these competencies, but also a developmental report for the potential mentor, himself or herself, in order to help him see it as a developmental procedure also, following certain development activities that could help him enhance his profile on these competencies. Apart from that, I would like to add one last thing, that as we say here, since it's a behavioral competency-based questionnaire, and it's, let's say, self-report questionnaire, it's important for us, if we have the chance to validate the evidence further, if the coordinator wants and has an option to validate the results, he can do it through a structured interview. So in this case, we developed also an interview guide, a structured interview guide based on these competencies with certain questions in order to go in more depth and in the findings of the profile of the mentor. So let's have a look at the 7 competencies that came up from the literature review on the stages that I referred earlier. First of all, demonstrating active listening. Of course, you can understand this is a skill necessary to every relationship and every communication channel, but in mentoring is, let's say, the most important. This came also as the most important from the validation interviews. Because mentoring can only exist in a two-way communication, where the mentee can feel he feels heard and understood. Apart from that, providing constructive feedback is the second one. It's important, mentoring approach can become more helpful when the mentee gets useful feedback, constructive feedback, and can identify alternative courses of actions. Building together is a very good competency. It has to do again with the two-way communication, setting a two-way relationship, where the mentee can open up himself or herself and can get relevant consultation. We build together, the mentor and the mentee. Building trust, a very important aspect in this relationship, because you have to have a trusting environment where the mentee can feel respected, welcomed, recognized, trusted in order to open up. Inspiring others. It's important, it enhances more this approach if the mentee becomes inspired to pursue personal development and growth. So if the other person, the mentor, can inspire him in some ways through different channels we will see later on, it makes it more strong, this relationship. Apart from that, cultivating a positive growth mindset, mentoring can become more useful when the mentee manages to identify the positive aspects and the learning parts of each situation, especially nowadays, as you said earlier, the environment is already difficult in the maritime sector for men, the conditions are difficult, even more difficult nowadays. So it's important to help the mentee see where is to see the glass full half, let's say. And last but not least, applying expertise and technology. Of course, mentoring exists only where knowledge and experience, expertise also exists. But as I said before, along with the intention to transfer this knowledge and ability to newcomers. Okay, you have to, the mentor has to have this drive. Otherwise, it's just a very good expert, but not a mentor. So, a few words more. Here you can see the behavioral indicators of each one, demonstrating active listening. We are talking about non-verbal signs, nodding, eye contact, verbal signs like reflecting back or paraphrasing, summarize certain comments in order for the other part to see that you understand him and you can go on the conversation. We don't interrupt mentees when they're talking. Providing constructive feedback. You don't want vague feedback. You want feedback specific on behaviors, specific examples that the mentor can refer to, and of course, based on observed behaviors, not the personality. We don't characterize personality by giving feedback. There is not such thing like a good or bad personality, but you can analyze the behaviors that they were effective, not effective, desirable, not desirable, useful suggestions for mentees to try next time, to give them alternative course of actions, and of course to compliment when they achieve something difficult for them, when they devote time on something in order to improve it. Building together, two-way communication, open questions to enhance understanding of their opinions and feelings, analyze mentee's profile, in order to be able for the mentor to provide effective support and consultation. And it would be nice if the mentor has a wide and effective network of contacts that mentees could make use of it in case it's relevant. Okay. Building trust. The first one has to do with the profile of the mentor to be reliable and credible. I mean, to be consistent on time at the meetings, to follow through on premises to them, a more reliable profile, let's say. Apart from that, being able to create a safe and trusting environment for mentees to open up by being honest, open, and approachable to others. Show confidence in and let mentees decide upon their final course of action, to give them the space to make their own decisions. Inspiring others. Identify or activate motivator factors that will empower mentees. Explore, discuss range of inspirational and motivational experience for mentees. They can use storytelling. It's a very interesting technique, a very useful technique in order to inspire mentees. And of course, not being afraid to share own past challenges, lessons learned, to inspire mentees to continue self-learning. To be open up also the mentor to expose himself in order to help the other side. For cultivating a positive growth mindset, here it has to do with how they can work productively in a high pressure environment. Again, storytelling, personal experience could help in order to have a clear picture of how they can handle that and cope with that. Explore with mentees the positive aspects, the learning outcome of a change or a challenging situation. And of course, to encourage them to accept criticism by focusing on the learning parts, not to be vulnerable to criticism, to have a constructive meaning for them. Okay. Last but not least, as I said, applying expertise and technology. It's also useful for the mentor to be updated with the new trends, new technologies, new developments on his field in order to follow up and help mentees. I think this is all. Is something that I was too fast and you want to come back and ask questions, please feel free to do that. I just want to add something based on what George said earlier, because it's very interesting. As you see here, we can have these competencies and we can assess potential mentors on these competencies, and we can have their profile, as I said earlier. George mentioned about evaluating, having a feedback form from the mentees that has to do with the relevant aspects of the mentor. As, for example, we can have creating how, in what extent the mentor created a safe environment in order to open up the mentor, or in what extent did he demonstrate active listening sides. Of course, for Mr. Vendikos, everything that would be on 5 on that, the score. Yeah, but for others, we don't know. So it would be interesting to have, we can have also correlations, that's why, with the self-image of the mentor, and actually how this is performed through 5, 10 mentees, different mentees and perceptions from the other side. Anyway, we have many alternatives and options to work on that and data to gather. But this is from my point of view. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Despina. Thank you. I guess also the rates of Yorgos Georgiou and Zacharias Siokuros can be also rather high, not so high, not 5, but it can, we can.
Yes, of course.
As I
Thank you very
said
much.
before,
Yes,
as I said before, when I was unmuted, I like your sense of humor. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, I think that you had that you presented in a rather comprehensive format. The way that we want to profile and select and profile our mentors, because the profiling of mentors is of utmost importance because this is a two-way street. The mentees are important, but also the mentors. We need strong mentors. We need very, dedicated mentors in order to be able, to use the platform, but most importantly, to inspire the young professionals, the students, to try and persuade in a solid way, to persuade people to go towards the blue economy, the maritime domain, and all that sectors that we are dealing with. Thank you very much. I don't see any questions. This is amazing because we are 12:30. We are almost there, and we have closed. We had some discussion earlier. This is the time. Whoever wants to say something, whoever wants to add, to clarify something, we will be coming back to you all people, because we need, it's not just what we want, but we need to keep, a very close relationship and with our advisory board members and with the industry in general, because we need, the right perspective. We don't want to lose our targets and objectives. We want the right perspective from the industry in order for us to be able to come up with tangible, useful, and hands-on solutions for our audience. And this is of paramount importance to us. I don't know who else, if somebody else wants to say something. I would like to remind once more that there is an online poll right now. I see that 15 people have replied already. So please, before closing, go ahead. It's only 6 questions or something like that, and it's very, 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 very quick. Zacharia, I see Yorgos that has gone somewhere. I don't know whether Zacharia or anybody else from the consortium wants to add something on what we have been discussing. I see that still Sonia, I think it's still with us. I don't know, as I checked earlier. I don't know whether Sonia, you want to say something, you want to, to give us a direction or something. So the floor is to you guys, Zacharia, Yorgos, or whoever wants to add before we will close. Zacharia, you are muted, eh?
I was not planning to talk, so now you forced me to do it.
I'm an expert on that too. Thank you.
Okay. Personally, I'm very pleased and from what I've seen with the platform, and I'm happy also to see so many people following this session today. Actually, we were having some discussion with George on this earlier. And being the godfather of the project, I'm also happy to see what we are doing. So thank you all, guys, partners and guests in today's session.
Indeed, thank you all. Yorgo, do you want to add something as also the coordinator of the mentor project? Because it is some kind of continuation. We are dealing with something different. With our perspective is a little bit different, but we are basing on the results and practices from the mentor. Of course, you have to unmute your microphone if you want to say something.
Yeah, Nikos, I missed because I reduced the sound because I'm here with Zacharias. I didn't hear your first sentences. Okay, but I would like to thank you all for participating. I would like to thank our coordinator who took over. He's doing so well with the continuation of the mentor project. And thanks for being with us.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we would like to thank everybody for participating. Sonia, you want to say something before we close?
Yes, very quickly. Thank you very much, Nikos. Thank you very much to all. Indeed, I was very happy to see such a good participation this morning. which is very important in these workshops, to have big participation. People are interested, I can see, and this is something that you can you can follow up, and you can keep. As I saw that you also asking for people to give their emails. And this is good because like that you will have a bigger audience for the next year, 2 years to come. No, I was very happy to see again the presentations from the colleagues on the platform and on the mentors, and it's indeed very interesting what you're doing, and I'm really looking forward to see the results, the outcome. I already see your progress, and it's the good way. This is the way to. This is what we want. Yesterday we had another meeting on mentoring, actually, on another subject, completely different. But just to say that it was very much what we heard is that mentoring is a very good tool, and the participants to, as I said, another mentoring program, were very happy, and they wanted to continue doing it, and they saw all the positives of having this one-to-one process with the mentors, mentees with mentors. So I think that this is a very good way forward. And in these difficult times that we have to do things online, still online, and until we are able to meet again, well, keep doing what you're doing, and let's see the end results. And thank you very much once again for the work you're doing.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, everybody, for attending this workshop. We will come back for our next workshop. We will come back to the members of the advisory board for more directions and more and for reviewing our work. And we will try to keep as close as possible to the industry in order to get the right, directions and the right to have the right perspective in order to come up with a tangible, useful, to a very good result. Thank you all very much. I would like also to thank our Cypriot partners for the organization. Thank you, CMMI. Thank you, University of Cyprus. Thank you, CCCI. And we will be in touch. Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.